the topic of conversation for the day changed because they announced a new DBZ game. The game in question is Dragon Ball Z for Kinect. You probably already know what the game is just from hearing the title. But before we talk about the game, I want to just cover motion controls a little bit beforehand. I personally think they're gimmicky and really don't help much games. Some games are enhanced by them. Sports games, for example. On the move, it's much better to play a baseball game when you're actually holding it and can swing it like a bat than just pushing a button and, doing things like that. Dancing games on the Kinect. That makes a lot of sense. You're not holding anything, you just move around, and that's playing the game. That makes a lot of sense. That works. A Dragon Ball Z game? No! That doesn't make sense. It's not going to work. It's going to be gimmicky. You're better off playing it on a regular controller. And that's part of the problem here. First of all, after you get past the title and you actually start looking at the game, the first thing you'll notice is the graphics and playstyle and like everything else was copied from Ultimate Tenkaichi. So right there, you can already say, if you didn't like the Ultimate Tenkaichi system, you probably won't like this game. That really is going to limit the people who are going to want to play it. Figure a lot of people didn't like Ultimate Tenkaichi, so you're going to lose people there. And then you can only market it to people who own a Kinect. I own a 360, I don't own a Kinect. I'm not going to get it, no matter what, because I don't want a Kinect. So you're only marketing it, basically. The only people who are going to want this, as far as I can tell, are people who want to try something new, and people who like Ultimate Tenkaichi. Both of those groups have to own a Kinect. Not looking good right there. Although, who knows how much money it costs to make. Anyway, different issues there, getting slightly off topic. Back to talking about the game. So, they copied the Ultimate Tenkaichi system, but added motion controls and made it first person. Yeah, well, first, the motion controls. I will admit, some parts of the game would be made better from motion controls. Those parts being the super moves. For example, just hitting L2 triangle is not as exciting as actually doing that. Problem there being, those are just the super moves. The actual hand-to-hand fighting, which is the majority of fighting in a DBZ game, is not going to work. You can even look at the trailer they released recently. You can already tell, it's not really going to work. The game's going to come off as being awkward and not work. Now, on to the first-person aspect. Speaking of awkward, the punches that were shown in that trailer from the first-person angle were the most awkward things I have ever seen in a Dragon Ball Z game ever. Ever. They were that bad. Take the worst throw that hits the air in Raging Blast, and it looks like a masterpiece compared to the punches shown in that trailer. It just blew my mind. I mean, I tried to simulate for you on the camera to show you what the punches look like, but I don't think human limbs are capable of movement that they reproduced in that. It was horrible. They moved in ways that looked unnatural, and it looked like you weren't hitting your target at all. Yeah. I really have no idea what to say about this. I feel like I should have something to say on this. I mean, it was so horrible. I feel like I should be able to properly communicate how bad and show you. But it was actually so terrible. I cannot think of words to describe it. The only thing I can say is, go look at the trailer. this really is something you have to see for yourself. I mean, it really is one of those things that you have to see for yourself to truly believe it exists. I am not kidding. Okay, I've harped on that long enough. The first person, awkwardness aside, it's using the Ultimate Tenkaichi engine. So it's only in first person for the times when you actually could move around freely. After, say, you punch them enough times and you're going to go into, you know, your little exchanges and your chases and things of that nature, it just looks like Ultimate Tenkaichi. The supers just look like Ultimate Tenkaichi. Like, they didn't do first-person supers or anything like that. At least from the trailers I've seen. At least from what I've seen, the only part that's in first person is the parts of Ultimate Tenkaichi where you could actually move around. That means, for the most part, the motion control part isn't even really utilized much in this game either. So apart from, I mean, that's part of the reason why it's gimmicky. Is because it's not used much. You might as well just play Ultimate Tenkaichi. As far as I can tell, the only advantage this game has over Ultimate Tenkaichi is a bigger character roster. But even then, it's not much bigger. They're advertising it with, I think, 50 or over 50. You know, they're probably over 50. They generally give vague numbers like that. But Raging Blast 2 had exactly 100 characters, using the counting system they make, which counts transformations and everything like that. Raging Blast 2 had 100, this one's saying over 50. That means this one is barely going to have over half. Barely. It still essentially has half as many characters as Raging Blast. And considering it's over 50, and I think Ultimate Tenkaichi had 43 characters total, so if it's going over 50, I mean that ranges anywhere from 51 to 59, but better estimate would probably be somewhere around 53 or 54. That means they're adding about 10 characters. One, they say, is one that's never been in a game before. So that's still only giving you about 9 characters left to fix the roster from Ultimate Tenkaichi. It's really not going to work still. The roster's still going to be a complete mess. It really is. I mean, and then who knows what the actual... I mean, this isn't even getting into what the game modes and if the character creator's still there and any of that stuff. I mean, just from what's known now, in my mind, this game will be horrible and suck. I really don't see redemption for this game. I really don't. I just really don't. The only silver lining in this whole story for me is this might not be the only DBZ game this year. Might not. From what I've read, they're not selling it in Japan, probably because no one, 360 ownership in Japan isn't very high. So that would mean that Kinect ownership would be even lower. So, from what I can tell, this might not be the DBZ game, like, coming from, Japan, sold in Japan, and then marketed everywhere else. It might not be that one. So we might get another one. And my thinking is because they recycled so much, and they're not selling in Japan. Those are my reasons why. I'm not saying there will or there won't. I'm saying it's a possibility. So, those are my thoughts on the game, my honest thoughts. Like it or not, whatever, at least I hope you were entertained by it. See you later.